Well, now we're going to talk about the challenger for the featherweight title. It's Diego Lopes that is the guy that everyone's got to look at and say, why is he the guy that's getting this shot? Why is he the challenger that is able to step into this role and possibly become a world champion with the UFC? Well, it's because of the way he fights. It's everything. First off, he's got a hell of a haircut. You got to go with the haircut. Anyone that rocks that kind of mullet, you know he doesn't care about what anyone thinks, and he doesn't, and that's the best part about him. You can go early in his career and take a look at what Diego Lopes was able to do. He took on a bunch of different styles, and he had his own style, and he was wild, and he still is fairly wild, but it was his ability to take and hone all of that down, and he really started doing it after he had a loss to a guy that is Amir Elzurkev in ACB's Young Eagles. That fight in itself was a fight that he was winning. You go back and watch it. It is a tough fight, but he's all over the place, and he's creating so many problems for Amir in that fight, and it's all based upon his aggressive style on the ground. He was taken down to the point where Amir, I don't want any part of this on the ground. He gets up and gets away from him. He was winning this fight, but fighting in a strange country, in a place that you're not comfortable with, and all the anxiety, you can see that he starts to slow down a little bit. He gets hit with a shot while on the ground, and it was the end of the fight. They stopped it. But from that point, he has been absolutely incredible. Now, he has some losses past that, but it was all of the way that he was fighting and how aggressive he was. And that's what actually got him into getting that fight against Evolov. When he was brought in, and I mean last second, to take on Evolov, everyone looked and said, man, you're fighting a guy that has 0 losses, is an incredible grappler, and just killing everybody in the UFC. And he went out and he put on a performance. Now, he didn't win that, but you got to take a look. He didn't train for that fight. He was in shape, but not truly in the kind of shape that he'd want to be in a fight against someone like Evolov. So he comes into that fight and he puts on a performance by creating situations where Evolov had to really work to try to slow down what Diego Lopes, and it was that slowing down of Lopes later on the fight that ended up giving Evolov the win by decision. But anyone that just steps in last minute, you're talking about someone that catches the attention of the brass with the UFC, the matchmakers. They now know I've got a guy that goes out and attacks, and that's what they're looking for, and that's what Diego Lopes does. Because take a look at his next fight off of that. He goes and he fights Gavin Tucker. Beautiful finish against the guy that is a phenomenal grappler. He then gets Pat Sabatini, who we have now seen how good Pat Sabatini is. And Diego goes out there, throws hands with him, and just absolutely decimates him, knocks him out of the fight in the first round. He then takes on a guy that we know is a huge power puncher. And again, a third straight first round finish of Sodiq Yusuff. And Sodiq Yusuff, everyone knows, super athletic, super fast, super powerful, but so is Diego Lopes. And this is what has captured the attention of the fans. It's what's captured the attention of the UFC in saying, hey, I got a guy that is fighting and is fighting a lot. He had 3 fights in 2023. He had 4 fights in 2024. That's what you as a promotion want from your fighters. I want a guy that wants to go out there and do it again and do it again and get all these fights under the belt, because all of those fights are making it to where he is getting better and better. Each training camp, each fight, you can see the skill level and the progression of where he was and where he is at now. Then you take a look, he finally does fight Brian Ortega, and take a look at what happens in that fight in the beginning. He hurt Brian Ortega badly, had him in trouble. All of the things that you're looking at that you say, where is it that Brian Ortega is strong? Where is it that Diego Lopes is strong? They're both great on the ground. It was the power that was the difference. The power of Diego Lopes. He has got that snap in his punches, and he can put anybody down at any time in the fight. It's really the difference maker, and it's what you're looking at in him taking on Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski had 3 fights in 2023. He only had 1 in 2024, and it didn't go his way. I think it's good that he had the rest, but as he's getting up in age, we all tend to slow down a little bit, and we don't take shots the same way. Does the power of Diego Lopes, is that the breaker of the equal parts of this? Because they both have a common opponent in Brian Ortega. Both of them went the distance with Brian, but you can take a look at both of the fights were completely different. And these are the elements when you're looking at Diego Lopes as a fighter. He is 26-6 overall, 5-1 in the UFC. It's easy to see why the UFC would want to put him in a position to possibly fight for the title. So when you're watching this fight, I cannot wait for this main event. This is what you're looking for in the sport of MMA. You're looking for two guys. Both do it a little bit different, but both of them are very similar in ways also. You're looking at Alexander Volkanovski, a guy who's been there, done that, super strong with his striking and very good with his grappling, against a guy in Diego Lopes who is the challenger, really. He's the guy that's the new guy on the block. He's been in the UFC for 6 fights. He's getting that title shot already. He deserves it. I say best of luck to both of them. Best of luck to Diego. You deserve this shot. Go out and get it.